Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a step off the beaten path. I don't usually comment on this circus we call public news. Um, as a matter of fact, I made it a point to stop commenting on it. So you won't hear me talking about Israel or Palestine or ah, Russia or Ukraine or any of that bullcrap because it's all lies. It's all manipulation. It's all propaganda. But I do want to talk about propaganda if you don't mind. Um, Somebody need to help me with this. Investigators scrutinizing video outside Epstein's cell to find some footage. It says find some footage unusable, according to the people familiar with the inquiry. Hold on a second. Outside the cell. Go back to 2019 in your memories. 2019. Outside the cell. The camera in the cell. There was a camera in the cell. They said it was not functioning. Said it had not been functioning for quite some time. The camera directly down the hallway in the cell said wasn't functioning. It had not been functioning for quite some time. Originally, they said there was no camera in the cell, and eventually they said there's a camera in the cell. Okay. 6 years, people, six years since that incident of his death. 6 years. They show a video today of an apparent suicide. If you believe that, you are more gullible. Lord have mercy. Gilligan ain't got nothing on you. Lord have mercy. Ladies and gentlemen, go back in your memory. They said there was no camera. They said that, pay attention, there was no footage because they had inadvertently deleted the footage. Now, anybody who knows computers knows that nothing is ever deleted permanently. You'd have to go through so much to delete something permanently. They said that it was inadvertently deleted. Ladies and gentlemen, they always make a backup copy. Oh, God, did I say that out loud? I apologize. They don't ever make a backup copy. It's standard practice never to make a backup copy, especially if you're government. It's like you were involved in 9/11, you had some files and you claimed they were in the Pentagon and the Pentagon got hit. You didn't have no backup to the files. They all just gone and the whole story nobody talks about no more. It's like that. Okay, so that's why they don't make backups. That would be stupid. I don't know what I was thinking of. As I said, they said there was no camera in the cell. Now they show what appears to be a deep fake, excuse me, camera in the cell. Okay? It appears to be, because even they say it appears to be Epstein in the cell. But they only show a couple of seconds, a millisecond, not even a couple of seconds, a millisecond. Say, what? What? They didn't show excuse me, the plane hitting the Pentagon. Yeah, it's like that. They only show a millisecond. They never show the whole footage. Even to this day, been more than 3 years. And these fools ain't never showed that. Why haven't they showed it? They got the cameras? FBI. Oh, that's right. It's the same people doing the investigation. My bad. I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm talking about. They said there was no camera in the cell. I remember the news reports. Remember, this is all they talked about, is how somebody apparently committed suicide. But if they have footage of the parent, him trying to kill himself, why don't they have footage of who entered and did not enter that cell? Wasn't that the main issue because they put someone in there that wasn't supposed to be in there in the first place? Then they moved him at the last minute? I apologize. Everybody's watching the yellow balloon. Everybody's paying attention to the dog and pony show. Nobody's asking the questions. Remember, originally they were focusing on the videos that were outside the cell. He died inside, didn't he? I'm focusing on. Oh no, no, no! And they didn't find him until the next. Ladies and gentlemen, what you don't know about prisons, especially those who are in isolation and suicide watch, the officers in the federal system required to do an hourly walk. They have to log that hourly walk. They said the two officers were asleep. Possible. Get in too much trouble if they fall asleep. Remember, they'll get in too much trouble if they fall asleep. So the two officers weren't asleep. I don't know. Officers do sleep on their shifts. They take turns sleeping, cover each other. I was able to see the lies from the very beginning. They said he hung himself in a cell. If you guys know anything about the cells in metropolitan detention centers, you cannot hang yourself. Jeffrey Epstein didn't have enough skills to hang himself in that cell. It wasn't that advanced. See, that takes thinking in advance. What do I mean by in advance? You would have to sit in the cell, examine the cell, figure out that's what, oh, I could just do it like that. You have to be there. See, what I did is because they said they were suicide proof. Seriously, said the design of those cells were suicide proof. So I would literally sit up there and figure out how a person could do it. What Jeffrey did was not how a person can do it. This is what they tell everybody because most people ain't never been in one of them cells. They ain't never been in one of those cells. So you all know I put myself in there 3 times on purpose. I wasn't trying to test the cell out. I was testing the system out. That being the case, I have a lot of time to sit up and study how those places are made. Jails are not made by architects, they're made by psychiatrists and psychologists. Let's see if the GPT understands that because I don't think it does. So let me ask. This is DeepSeek. We were running another question regarding company finances. You know, this is talking about reallocation and repurposing assets, financial assets. I was just doing some searching for the re's. But anyway, wake up, wake up. Are you familiar with prison and prison construction designs? And their construction and designs? Stop listening. Life goes on, y'all. It really does. It's a long Wednesday or Tuesday. See, that's how long it is. It's not familiar with the principles, trends, and the controversies, and I didn't ask about the controversies. I didn't ask you. I did not ask you for all of that. I just asked you a simple question. I just asked you, are you familiar with? Are you familiar with? Question mark. They are designed by psychiatrists and psychologists, not actual architects. Actual that they are. Listening, won't be going through that torture no more since it doesn't want to listen when I tell it to. All right. You're absolutely right, clarifying, and my apologies. The simple answer to your question is yes, I'm familiar with that fact. You are correct that modern prison designs, especially specialized units like Supermax or prisons and prison facilities, are typically not the work of an actual architect alone. The interdisciplinary process led by corrections department staff, security consultants, and behavioral psychologists and criminologists. The reason why it's designed by psychiatrists is because people are not supposed to be in cages. Many people can't handle being in cages. There was a time when the prison used to paint the walls psychedelic colors or fluorescent orange and blue and all of that stuff, and they actually led to a lot of psychosis issues. And so they have to stop. Prisons are designed by psychiatrists. So the reason why they're designed by psychiatrists is to prevent inmates from killing themselves in their cell. Now you can't really stop it. They can still find a way, but there is no just hanging yourself. Remember, that's how they used to claim inmates were hanging themselves and taking their own lives. And so because there was so much scrutiny, they had to take care of that. So when they said Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide in his cell, and he was in now he's technically in a supermax because he was in the ASEG, Administrative Segregation, ASU. It's called Administrative Segregation Unit. That is, pay attention, similar to supermax. You're in your cell 23 hours a day, you get out 1 hour, correct. And you're escorted every time you leave the cell. Possible for these idiots to say that hours went by and nobody checked on them. And those officers are not brought up under criminal charges. Now remember, his attorneys, his defense attorneys, remember? Epstein's so-called attorneys said they were going to investigate. The defense team fully intends to conduct a full investigation. This was in 2019. Where'd that investigation go? Anybody find it? Somebody looking for it? Nobody looking for it? Oh, well, I guess, billions of dollars out there. I guess some defense team got something. You follow? Because nobody paid attention, but I did. I remember when they said they were going to do their own investigation. When did they release that investigative information? Huh? Anybody? Everybody? We are not satisfied with the conclusions of the medical examiner. Is that you're not satisfied? Well, what happened? What'd you do about that? What'd you do about that? I can't get no satisfaction. What you do about that ain't satisfied? And I try, and I try, and I try, and I try. Gentlemen, do you see how the system works? I don't know. Many people forgot. They know that there are people in society who don't forget these things, who remember. Okay? My memory ain't what it used to be, y'all. I used to remember everything I heard. Now it's harder for me to hold on to everything I heard. Not extremely hard, but it's not what it used to be. It's better than what most people go through, but it's not where I used to be. That being the case, I'm not a fan of Jeffrey. I don't know Jeffrey. I don't care about Jeffrey. I do care about the fact that they took a life. I do care about that. Ladies and gentlemen, there's no such thing as a person deserving to die. Yeah. What he's alleged to have done. Pay attention. What he's alleged to have done. I have no proof. I wasn't there. I don't want to be there. They were there. They said they got victims. But hold on. Mike Tyson had a victim that he did nothing that they claimed he did. She went to his hotel room at 3 o'clock in the morning and then on crime rape. Not the same day. Kobe Bryant. Yeah, he cheated on his wife. But that was consensual. Why? Because, ladies and gentlemen, she went to his hotel room. She didn't go to his hotel room to talk to him about basketball. Hey man, that crossover you did that day, you show me how you did that. She was inquiring to figure out how to do a crossover. Lord have mercy, they weren't playing basketball. Was obviously weren't playing. But what did you go to the police immediately? immediately. Why did you wait more than a day? Ladies and gentlemen, our, our society doesn't work that way. Even with Tupac, this is how I just mentioned, and I apologize for that. 3 black men whom they accused, and they got all 3 of them the exact same way because they've been hitting black men for that from the beginning. Go ahead and look at the boxer. I think his last name was Johnson, Jack Johnson or something like that. Man Act. You have to do your research on how they created the Man Act. Then we have all of these politicians taking pictures. Wait a minute, ladies and gentlemen, if they took pictures with the man, that doesn't mean they were condoning or even doing what he did. Taking pictures with a billionaire is what politicians do because billionaires donate money. If billionaires donate money, you better believe that politician's going to take a picture with them. I'm not making excuses for them. I am saying the pictures are not enough. Just because they have pictures of somebody with somebody, that's not enough. That's not evidence of anything. Sorry, but the media will tell that to people. You can't be convicted because you were in a photo. You have to be in a photo committing a crime. I wish people would really learn the law and learn what constitutes a crime, what constitutes a felony, what constitutes a misdemeanor. But people don't care. They want to watch the news and let the news tell them what constitutes a crime. They want to watch what's that stupid show? Uh, Law and Order. They want to watch that piece of crap. Man, if you guys watch Law and Order and think that that junk is based on the law, you are out of your mind. I tried watching an episode of Law and Order. I can't get through Law and Order because I see how much junk they throw out there that is illegal. I will tell you, and I'm trying to think of there is a show where they kept it real all the way through. All of the stuff, the police, well, The Shield is one of those shows, but no, there was an actual show where they kept it real from A to Z. Where, oh, the Mayor of Kingston showing you exactly how the system works, showing you exactly how the jail system works, showing you exactly how the prison system works. The Mayor of Kingston, I am very surprised at that show that they put it out there because they have to show you what they're doing. They can't hide it. They're in the contract. All right, look, like I said, I saw that news footage. Give me a second. I'm gonna go back to it. Come on. Oh, this is not the page. It's gonna be the page before this one. This one right here. This one talks about investigators, but how did he die? I don't care. Give me a second. We gotta go. This is the one where they say forensics experts analyzed the Epstein jail video. Ladies and gentlemen, oh, this one, it's only a couple of seconds. So you don't even watch the ones that say 9 minutes. That's just them talking. But experts find inconsistencies, including missing minute and possible editing. Of course, there was editing. Lord have mercy. I didn't read that junk because I already knew it. I knew it from the very beginning that that was going to be the case, and then they're releasing the video. That was 2019, and it has going on with 2024. That's a long time. Because it's a distraction, people. A distraction from the photo and the redacting and all of that stuff. But again, pay attention. It's the FBI doing an investigation. You're not going to be able to get the files. You can do a public records request, but you're not going to be able to get the files. And the reason why you're not going to be able to get the files is they're going to claim it's an ongoing investigation. Don't tell nobody. They're not trying to protect people's anonymity. If they were trying to protect people's names, all they have to do is block out the names, but they're blocking out entire pages because of what it talks about. Now, that means they are aware of the crimes. Do you see anybody getting arrested? That means the FBI is aware of the crimes. Do you see anybody getting arrested? So, if you still think that everything is exactly the way they say, don't take my word for it. Hey, that's 20 minutes of nothing. I'll have a good day.